Behind every famous brand, here is a story, a secret, a surprising fact, or a twist you never saw coming. From soda empires to tech giants, today we're diving into the hidden side of the world's most iconic companies. Buckle up, this is going to blow your mind. Let's start with Coca-Cola, the world's favorite soft drink. Did you know it was originally sold as medicine? Yep! In 1886, a pharmacist named John Pemberton created it as a tonic for headaches and fatigue. Oh, and that iconic red color? It was used to avoid alcohol taxes on its barrels. Smart move, right? And speaking of soft drinks, Pepsi made its mark in space. In 1985, Pepsi became the first soda to be consumed in zero gravity. Oh, and fun fact, it was almost called Brad's Drink. Admit it, it doesn't have the same ring. Toyota synonymous with reliable cars. But did you know the company started out making sewing machines? Today, they don't just build cars, they construct prefabricated houses in Japan. And here is a bonus. Toyota replaced Toyota because it's easier to write in Japanese. Talk about a brand glow-up! Ferrari, the dream car of millions, has a surprising rule. Employees can't buy new Ferraris. Why? Because priority goes to loyal customers and collectors. Oh, and that famous prancing horse? It was inspired by a World War I pilot. So much history packed into that engine roar. Apple company that started in a garage and now dominates the world. But did you know their first logo wasn't the iconic bitten apple? It was Isaac Newton sitting under a tree. And one of the co-founders, Ronald Wayne, sold his 10% stake for just $800. Ouch. Golden Arches, Big Macs, and pizza? That's right, in the 1980s, McDonald's tried selling pizza, but it didn't quite hit the spot. And here is a fun tidbit. The arches weren't just a logo, they were part of the building's design. The Nike swoosh, a logo that cost just $35 to create. It was designed by a college student named Carolyn Davidson, who probably didn't know it would become one of the most famous symbols in the world. And the name Nike? It's from the Greek goddess of victory. Lego isn't just for kids. The word Lego comes from the Danish phrase leggot, meaning play well. But here's the kicker. Lego produces more tiny tires each year than any real tire company. That's right, Goodyear doesn't stand a chance against Lego. Samsung might be a tech powerhouse today, but it started in 1938 as a company selling noodles. Yes, noodles. Fast forward to now, and Samsung builds everything from ships to skyscrapers. Oh, and their name means 3 stars, symbolizing greatness, power, and eternity. Amazon, the king of e-commerce, almost had a very different name, Cadabra. Jeff Bezos changed it because it sounded too much like cadaver. And here is a fun fact. Their logo's arrow from A to Z isn't just a smile, it's a promise that they sell everything you can imagine. Disney, the magical kingdom, started with just a mouse. But here is something wild. Walt Disney was afraid of mice in real life. And while Mickey Mouse is famous now, did you know Walt originally wanted to call him Mortimer? Thankfully, his wife convinced him otherwise. Starbucks, your go-to for coffee, got its name from a character in the novel Moby Dick. Their first logo? A two-tailed mermaid inspired by maritime lore. Oh, and the most expensive Starbucks drink ever ordered? It cost over $50! Harley-Davidson tried to trademark the sound of their engines in the 1990s. The iconic potato rumble is recognized worldwide! The green Heineken bottle is famous. But did you know it was once brown? It was changed to green to symbolize quality and freshness. Rolex created the Deep Sea Special, a watch that survived being submerged 10,916 meters, 35,814 feet underwater during a Mariana Trench expedition. Google's founders accidentally created the search engine's I am feeling lucky feature. It costs the company over $100 million a year because it bypasses ads. Cadbury was one of the first companies to add milk to chocolate bars in 1904. Its dairy milk became so iconic that rival brands tried to copy its signature purple packaging. Louis Vuitton bags are so durable that the brand tests them by dropping them, exposing them to UV light, and even blasting them with water jets for hours. Microsoft's name originally had a hyphen, Microsoft, to emphasize its focus on microcomputers and software. The hyphen was later dropped to simplify branding. Adidas was founded by Adolf Dassler, while his brother Rudolf started Puma. Their rivalry created two of the biggest sportswear brands in the world. Before becoming a gaming giant, Nintendo started in 1889 as a playing card company in Japan. Their Hanafuda cards are still sold today. Tesla's Model S Plaid can go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 1.99 seconds, making it one of the fastest production cars ever made. L'Oreal's founder was a chemist who invented the first synthetic hair dye in 1907. The company's original name? Société Française de Teinture Inoffensives pour Cheveux. Kitamoutful. IKEA intentionally designs its stores like a maze to encourage customers to explore and buy more products. It's a tactic known as the Gruen effect. Netflix originally sent DVDs by mail in bright red envelopes. The idea came from co-founder Reed Hastings, who was annoyed about late fees at Blockbuster. During World War II, Hershey's developed a chocolate bar for soldiers that wouldn't melt and had a slightly bitter taste to prevent overeating. Boeing once made furniture before shifting to airplanes. In fact, their early workers included boat builders to construct wooden airplane frames. Burger King released a meat-scented cologne called Flame in 2008. While it gained media attention, the product was discontinued due to poor sales. Sony's first product was an electric rice cooker, which wasn't very successful. The company later pivoted to electronics and became a global tech leader. To fund their startup, Airbnb's founders sold limited edition cereal boxes called Obama O's and Cap and McCain during the 2008 US presidential election. KFC's famous 11 herbs and spices are kept in a vault in Louisville, Kentucky. Only 2 people know the entire recipe at any given time. H&M stands for Hennes and Mauritz, but it was originally just Hennes Swedish for hers and sold only women's clothing. The Unilever logo isn't just a ooh. It's made up of 25 icons that represent their various products, from food and drinks to cleaning supplies. The Porsche 911 shares a distant connection to the Volkswagen Beetle. Both were designed by Ferdinand Porsche, blending performance with practicality. TikTok's original Chinese name, Douyin, means shaking sound. Its global name reflects its focus on short, snappy videos, like the ticking of a clock. Gucci's famous bamboo-handled bags became a Hollywood favorite in the 1950s. They were designed during World War II to combat material shortages. Samsung once held the record for the largest mobile phone, creating a fully functional replica of the Galaxy S4 that stood 16 feet tall. Budweiser once created a space beer called Budweiser Zero G, designed to be consumed in zero gravity. It was part of a 2017 experiment on the International Space Station. The Mars Company refused to let its M&Ms be featured in the movie E.T. instead. Reese's Pieces took the spotlight, leading to a massive boost in Reese's sales. Red Bull's founder, Dietrich Mateschitz, was inspired by a Thai drink called Krating Dawn. He reformulated it for Western tastes and turned it into the global energy drink empire we know today. Uber started as a luxury service called UberCab, where users could book black cars via an app. The affordability came later, transforming it into the everyday ride-sharing service it is now. Guinness Beer leases out the St. James's Gate Brewery in Dublin for just £45 annually. This lease, signed in 1759, lasts for 9,000 years. Zara's founder, Amancio Ortega, originally named the brand Zorba, after the movie Zorba the Greek, but a nearby bar with the same name forced him to change it to Zara. Pringles cans were invented by a chemist named Fred Bohr, who was so proud of his creation that his ashes were buried in a Pringles can after he passed away. Nestle was founded in 1866 and started with condensed milk. Its instant coffee brand, Nescafé, was invented in 1938 to help farmers preserve their coffee surplus. Boeing's iconic jumbo jet, the 747, was initially designed to be a cargo plane. The upper deck, now famous for first-class seating, was originally meant for the crew to rest. Adobe's name comes from the Adobe Creek, a river that ran behind the houses of the company's founders, John Warnock and Charles Geschke. Tupperware became famous not because of the product itself, but because of the Tupperware parties held by housewives in the 1950s. It was one of the first examples of direct marketing. James Dyson created 5,127 prototypes before perfecting his first bagless vacuum cleaner. Talk about persistence! The original Hot Wheels cars were designed by an actual rocket scientist, Jack Ryan, who worked at Mattel after leaving the aerospace industry. Patagonia was named after the remote mountainous region in South America because the founder, Yvon Chouinard, admired its rugged beauty. Casio's first product wasn't watches, it was a cigarette lighter that could also double as a ring. The company later shifted its focus to calculators and electronics. Heineken beer bottles were once designed to be used as bricks for housing in developing countries. The experiment was called World Bottle, but was never widely implemented. Panasonic created Japan's first electric rice cooker in 1956. It became an instant hit and paved the way for their success in home appliances. Play-Doh was originally a wallpaper cleaner. Its creators discovered that kids loved playing with it and rebranded it as a toy in the 1950s.